Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Feece School. Today we'll be talking about how you can write a great screenplay in the story sense, and how you can write a great story and make it really intriguing. Enjoy. Welcome back to another episode of Luke Talks, bros. Now, the first most important thing is having a great storyline. Now, a lot of writers have different ways of making the storyline, but for example, Dan Harmon, the creator of Rick and Morty and Community and a couple other shows and movies, has this writing method. The character starts off in a zone of comfort, but then he wants something, so he enters a zone of an unfamiliar or scenario, and then he adapts to that scenario, gets what he wants, but pays a heavy price for it, and then he learns a lesson. And so that method, he actually has this circle, and he divides it into 8 parts of the script, and he makes it. Another great writer, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, are the creators of South Park, and they have this method of writing, and that's basically where if the story has the word "and then" in the story, then it's not going to be interesting. And they talk about how if you want to make a great story, you have to, this is the plot, but this happens, therefore this happens, but then this happens, therefore this happens. If you have and then this happens, that's just adding something, a new plot to that plot, and it will just drag on. And then you'll either have a bunch of plots, or it'll just drag on to a story that doesn't have a set plot. If you want to have a great story, have a message. A message could be political. It could be talking about global warming, it could be talking about financial stuff, or you could have an emotional message. Trust the people that care about you, be nice to the people around you, yada yada, whatever. But you have to have a message in your story, no matter what it is. Now, the thing that people will remember most of all in your movie, script, story, book, whatever you're doing, is the beginning and the end. Now, the whole story should be awesome if you're trying to make a good story, but the beginning and the end is the thing that is the part that people will remember the most. This is why directors and cinematographers spend a long time making the first scene in the film, because that's what people will remember. Not only that, but it should be something that resembles what the whole film is going to be about, or what the whole story is going to be about. The Breakfast Club. When you start off the movie, we see the kids getting out of the car going to detention. It shows you that this is going to be a show about stress, coming of age, and dealing with growing up. Or another example, Shawshank Redemption. It's going to be about something dark. You see him in the car, you see him go to jail. That's the first scene of the movie pretty much, where he gets sentenced to life in prison, and they'll show you that it's a heavy movie with a lot of sad and scary situations. So that is the first scene, or and the ending is really important. It'll leave people remembering what the whole thing and the gist was about. So make a memorable end, and make sure people will remember it. Now, character development. Have them learn something. If the character doesn't learn anything, what's the point of them developing? Let's say they learn about something emotional, political, whatever, but they have to have a sense of learning and development, whether it's good or bad. Maybe they could be developing down a bad path or a good path. A great example of this is BoJack Horseman. The creator of the show, Ralph Waltzberg, he knows that in real life, people aren't always at an even level. If you watch a show like SpongeBob, it is a great show, and there's a lot of great animation in it, but all the characters are, in a sense, Plankton's the same, SpongeBob's the same happy guy. But in a show like BoJack Horseman, or any show that's really deep and well written, all the characters are going to be dealing with something different throughout their lives. Maybe they're in a good place, maybe the other character's in a bad place, but eventually that character will be in a bad place, and this character will be in a good place, and that's just how life works. So if you implement that into your writing, maybe the character starts off learning something and dealing with something, and that character's in a bad point, and this character's in a good point, and then it goes. I'm going to talk about foil. Now foil is for characters. Now let's say, example, in Luke Skywalker's foil is obviously Darth Vader, or it's basically characters that have conflict in some sense and have a revolution at the end or not, but they just go at each other and they have conflict in some sense. That's what a foil is. And most of the characters should have a foil when making this story, because it will make it for a more intriguing story and more tension and more cliffhanger potential and more fun for the script writing. Now that is it for my Feece School. I just wanted to talk about how you can write better, and I hope you like this video. If you want to see more writing tips, or if you want to see a video on how you can script write perfectly, you can check out that video right here. I'll leave a link below. And also, yeah, have a good day.